I've been a model maker for way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. This is what I do. I haven't done this very often. This is kind of new to me. Aside from being a kid and making model kits, to bring this into this industry, I thought was really fun. A unique opportunity that can probably only happen when you're in a startup, and these guys are the result of no electricity. There's nothing elegant about what you see here. This is glue, bending wire, slapping balsa wood on there. When I started this guy, I had some images of things that I liked that we ourselves had drawn inside the studio, stuff that I liked from different movies or whatever. I even really like going back to old Harryhausen stuff, rest in peace. Too bad we lost him recently. I mean, I'm just digging through anything on the internet of old school movies like Star Wars, Blade Runner, Aliens, 2001 that started it all. Stan Winston, those guys in those creature shops and stuff. When I got into this stuff, I went back and just really rifled through a lot of those old making ofs, and I was almost taking notes on what they were using to scratch build these or kit bash these old Hollywood props with. I learned a lot from it. I think it's something that everybody should look into if they're in this business. By looking at their work, you can see they start with a good armature, and you start bulking it up. So you can see I'm just stretching rubber over stuff to get the shape. It just goes real fast that way.
That's
and
insane.
Copious amounts of glue, man. The good thing about building in plastic or building a maquette in real life, first thing you have plumb and balance, so that the model has to stand on its own two legs. How would this guy get around on the field? How fast would he animate? How's the motion model work? So this really helped with that. I mean, obviously we went beyond that with the in-game model, but we had to also consider the player being able to ambush these guys and jump on top of them and stuff. And nothing works better than grabbing an action figure in a design meeting and go pew pew, or like get on top of here and pantomime it a little bit. It's great for meetings and stuff. So the philosophy has always been to make these things respond to the player as if it was just an extension of their body. But really the idea was to make it feel believable, grounded, genuine, authentic, has a military vibe. And then last but not least, be able to fit a character, a player inside this thing and make it believable. I mean, obviously it needs to feel a certain way and feel powerful, and it can take a punch, but giving it the opportunity to actually do something that's really important in our game, which is an aspect of cat and mouse. So being able to go and hunt a pilot, get down and crouch, or like being able to duck down and look into a building and see if anyone's there, or just lob a bunch of shots in there and clear out the building from a giant perspective. The other thing too is making them able to use buildings, cars, ships, anything as cover. We've even gone as far as to try motion capturing Titans and just scaling it up into the rig. By doing that, we achieved some really cool organic, past the clunky giant robot vibe. So it has a little bit of organic quality to its movement. And our animators are really good at going on top of that information and just really finessing it and making it feel awesome. We loved the idea of doing Titans with hands and appendages and stuff, because it opens the door for a lot of our multiplayer campaign stuff. These single player moments, we can actually reach into another Titan and grab a guy and rip him out of his Titan with a hand. Like you'll see things in the game, hopefully, where we're swatting at him with a hand. It would be a little bit difficult if he didn't have real hands, or just had giant barrel gun hands. He'd just be it'd be like trying to watch Edward Scissorhands try to eat food with chopsticks or something, or try to eat peas. So hands come in real handy. Another reason to have these robotic hands and to be able to work with them and animate them is that the player can be jumping from any angle. We worked very, very hard to make it so that this guy can be running as your buddy, and you're leaping off a roof, and he just grabs you out of the air and just opens up, throws you right in there. And there's one where they're probably not gonna like it I said this, but I call it London Bridge because I don't know what else to call it. But you'll be behind him and he grabs you through his legs and just throws you in there like that. It's pretty cool being able to kind of get on this thing like the fastest steed. It's one big motion. It's not this big clunky maneuver. It's again trying to make these things feel really nimble, fast, relatable, and human. Early on, we had a Marvin that out of the just for some reason it read really well. I took a stab at it, and Marvins are supposed to be these little worker bots in the game. So I took a stab at it. We may or may not use this version. There are weaponized versions of Marvins in the game, which we'll probably get into at a later date. But the Marvins they're like the laborers of the universe. Nobody respects them. They're oftentimes seen in environments when a fight is going on, still cleaning up trash. You can kind of use them as a player to blend in, hide behind them sometimes, use them as cover. So they add a little bit of personality and maybe almost a civilian vibe to the universe a little bit. I mean, they'll probably play into the gameplay a little more later as we go. They're just ripe for all kinds of shenanigans. I think one of the potholes you can step into as science fiction is over-designing or putting something in just for the sake of having it. And a lot of times you fall into a trap of people can't relate to it, they don't know what it is. Everything that we have in our game, we really work hard towards making it read at a first glance and be understandable to the player so that they can digest the rest of the game that's going on. So the world is just taken for granted. It's our job to make it that way. This was a blast, it's good, we'll probably keep doing it on the next foreseeable future project or whatever happens after this.